Hello, friends. We've got a couple of new Lincoln Project ads and Mehdi Hasan calling out Trump. Let's get into it.
President of the United States, Tim Walz.
When Vice President and I talk about freedom, we mean the freedom to make your own healthcare decisions, for our children to be free to go to school without worrying they'll be shot dead in their classrooms. A place where we settle our political differences not through violence, but with our votes. For education to be that ticket to the middle class, not crippling debt. Air that's clean, water that's pure, communities that are safe. If Trump gets a chance to return, he's going to pick up exactly where he left off 4 years ago. Only this time, it will be much, much worse. We aren't going back. We just got to fight. Because as soon-to-be President Harris says, when we fight, we win.
Every day, that Joe Biden and Donald Trump were the oldest candidates ever. Republicans made the excuse that Biden was 3 years older, and the media gave it a pass. Their breathless coverage of Biden's age, while ignoring Trump's decline, pretended Trump wasn't slurring his speech.
We want a landslide that's
confusing people,
including Obama. I'll tell you what.
Telling weird, wandering stories.
By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man.
Now, there's no excuse. There's only one person in this race now with mental problems. One person with memory problems. One person feeling the icy hand of death from old age creeping closer. One person who knows the clock is running out. And that's old Donald Trump. Weak, impotent, forgetful, mentally declining, fast. He'd be 83 by the end of his term. If he's senile now, he'll be dangerous by then.
No, he's not going to back up. I think 3 times now, Julie and I were discussing before, and we were counting, he's basically referred to American Jews as secret Israelis with dual loyalties to their prime minister abroad. This is the 3rd time he's done it as president. He's not going to back down. And I just think we need to deal with this very dangerous idea that says being pro-Jewish means you have to be pro-Israeli. Or being pro-Israeli means you're automatically pro-Jewish and you're immunized from the charge of anti-Semitism. Lots of anti-Semites support Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. It doesn't mean anything. And regardless of Donald Trump's views on Israel, as your report showed, he's always been an anti-Semite. This is not a controversial opinion. The facts are there. He was an anti-Semite in the 1980s when Ivana said he kept a book of Hitler speeches next to his bed. He was an anti-Semite in the 90s when his casino manager said he only wanted short guys in yarmulkes counting his money. He was an anti-Semite in 2013 when he shamed Jon Stewart on Twitter for having a Jewish birth name. And of course in 2015 when he said to Republican Jewish donors, you won't vote for me because I don't want your money. And then we see the presidency, neo-Nazis at Charlottesville, very fine people. It goes on and on and on. I don't know how much more evidence we need that he's an anti-Semite, and it's amazing that not a single Republican today has called him out for it.
Mehdi Hasan, a prominent journalist and commentator, recently criticized former President Donald Trump for his alleged anti-Semitic remarks. Hasan's comments were part of a broader discussion on accusations of anti-Semitism within political parties, specifically addressing claims made by Republicans about the Democratic Party's stance on Jewish issues. Hasan challenged the narrative pushed by some Republicans that the Democratic Party is anti-Semitic, highlighting the significant representation of Jewish individuals within the party. He pointed out that all 10 Jewish senators in the U.S. Senate are Democrats, as well as the majority of Jewish members in the House of Representatives and several key Jewish figures in the Biden administration. In contrast, Hasan labeled Donald Trump as the most openly anti-Semitic presidential candidate we've seen in our lifetimes, criticizing the former president's history of comments that have been perceived as anti-Semitic. This includes Trump's past remarks that have invoked harmful stereotypes and dual loyalty tropes, which have been widely condemned by various groups and individuals, including members of the Jewish community. Hasan's critique is part of a larger conversation about the rise of anti-Semitism in the U.S. and the responsibility of political leaders to address and condemn such sentiments. His comments reflect ongoing concerns about the impact of political rhetoric on minority communities and the importance of holding leaders accountable for their statements.